श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So we are looking at an adhikari. So an adhikari for the Vedanta Shastra, the purpose of which is freedom, a total freedom from a sense of lack or want. And the Vishaya, the subject matter, is the non-dual reality, which the whole world is a manifestation of. And the person to whom this Shastra is addressed is called an Adhikari. He is the intended audience. And while the Adhikari for normal things, like if you want to go to first grade, you must have UKG. That's the normal Adhikaritvam. If you want a job, you must have an appropriate qualification, experience. Here, it's in terms of the mind, human being being prepared. So we have seen Viveka, Vairagya. Viveka is an ability to distinguish between Nitya and Anitya. Vairagyam is objectivity, to be able to see things as they are, not to place either a deficient value or an inflated value on anything. Everything has its place in the scheme of things. If we see them where they belong, that is objectivity. If I think that my job is going to be my source of joy, there is an overweighing of the value of the job. Similarly, if I say if something goes wrong, I'll be no good, that's also a problem. I mean, basically, anything which is not in keeping with reality is not objectivity. So going all the way, objectivity will lead you to that non-dual reality alone. But first, there's a relative objectivity. That is Vairagyam. Then we are in the midst of looking at this Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. Sixfold values beginning with the word Shama. Shama, as we saw, is a say at the level of the mind, ability to make the mind go where you want it to go at some level, requiring an effort. All of these require an effort. It requires an initiative. That's why they're Purushartha. Dhamma is a say at the level of the organs of action and knowledge. Uparati, we saw, is doing one's own duty, or it could also mean sannyasa. Then last week we saw Titiksa. What is Titiksa? The ability to accept what comes without complaining, without reacting, without murmur, more or less. And do what has to be done. Nobody is stopping you from doing anything. That freedom is always retained. But the disease of complaining and resisting a fact, that alone is being addressed. Sahanam sarva dukkhana apratikara purvakam. Sahanam sarva dukkhana is putting up with. See, that sahanam, putting up with, we all do anyway. Do we have a choice? When you have a difficult situation, what do? You go through it crying or you go through it smiling, you go through it anyway. Sahanam has to happen because there's no choice. You can't walk away from the problem totally. You are in the midst of it. So sahanam sarvadukhanam we do. Then what's the extra? Apratikara purvakam. Pratikara can also mean reacting. So if someone gives me one on the face, I will give him 5. Immediately, no thinking required, It is called pratikara. It's a reaction immediately, which you may later regret. Without that. Means even if you give him back 5, it should be considered by you. It's an action, okay? If you thought about it and decides, this guy needs an overwhelming response, so he will never get up again. Do it. But do it with a clear judgment. I want to do this. This is the way this fellow will stop. Offense is the best form of defense. Not for Vedanta, okay? I'm just saying in general. So, what has to be done, you do. But you do so by choosing to do so. That choice is very important. If I did it without choosing, means I'm helpless. I have no say over my actions. I'm like a dog. If I feel like barking, it barks. That's it. There should be a difference between me and a dog. What's the difference? If I feel like barking, I can still shut up. That's the difference. I don't have to yell or bark. That is apratikara purvakam. Chinta vilapa rahitam. Without worry, anxiety, without vilapa, talking about it, lamenting about it, complaining about it, becoming the main topic of conversation, everybody I talk to, whatever I went through. That I let go, which means you face a fact for what it is, do what is to be done, and move on. Which means you don't let it actually burden you. So if we take a thing, if we're able to see the thing as it is and just respond to it, it does not add to the weight inside. But even for a little thing, if I say, why does this person do this? Why? How many times do I tell him this? See, that voice it will betray my difficulty. How many times? Right? How many times this means that I think I've said it enough number of times. But a person still doesn't seem to recognize that I want things to be different. Maybe he does, but he still can't do anything differently. But every time that behavior comes, that why becomes even more, that wine, the pitch of the wine increases even more. This is a difficulty. And this does not change anything on the ground. Everything continues to be what it is. The only thing that happens is I get burdened. I get stressed. And then, if I have done it for long enough, I need a de-stressing retreat. Because I need, so much has been loaded now, that I need time and special facility to unload that. So much of garbage has been loaded up. So if I can keep the garbage out to start with, if I can refuse to do this reacting at the outset, there is no gathering of load. This unloading people every day in the morning and night is a good idea. Whether you do meditation fully or not, you at least unload the fellows you carry in your head. Next morning, you wake up fresh. Night you unload, you'll sleep well, hopefully. Morning you unload, the day starts well. But then again, some load will happen in the day, that's acceptable. you unload again until you don't load, so that you don't need to unload. Okay. Whether we study the next part of Vedanta or not, if we get the sadhana chatushtayam, that will bless in its own way. We don't need to know Tattvamasi. It doesn't matter if we don't know. But that is the carrot which motivates me. But even if there is no carrot, if we can just even unload people, one big step. Just Titiksa is enough. Make life much easier. Because everything else continues. It's just that you are free from extra load. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Good to remember this definition. Okay. All right. Then what is the next one now? After this is Shraddha. So let us look at that. So now Shraddha is what? Shastrasya guruvakyasya satyabuddhyavadharana sa Shraddha kathita sadbihi yaya vastupalabhyate. Shastrasya guruvakyasya satya buddhi avadharana. That's the definition. The second line is just filling up the definition, telling you that's the definition. Sa Shraddha kathita. That is called Shraddha. By whom? Sadbihi. By the people who know. That last part, yaya vastu upalabhyate. By which attitude, by which value alone, what you're trying to know, the free you, can be known only if you have Shraddha. And what is Shraddha? Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhi Avadharana. Avadharana means you come to a definitive conclusion. What is the conclusion? Satya Buddhi. What is Satya Buddhi? This is true. This is true. What is true? Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhi. Shastre Guruvakye. With what the scriptures have to say and what the teacher has to say. Hopefully the two are not different. Sometimes they can be different. But generally, they should not be different. The Shastra comes out through a Guru. So sometimes we will say the Shastra which comes from a Guru. But here, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya, but they are both in sixth case. So I can take Samanadhikaranyam and make sure they're the same. But sometimes a teacher may say something other than what the Shastra is saying in a context to a given person at a given time. That is the extra value that comes from a live teacher. That while the Shastra says something, when a particular person approaches the teacher and the student is known to the teacher, then the teacher may say something quite different than what is being said there because he looks at the person. When you look at the person, then that person has his own personality, each person. So how a person can benefit? In what way, if something is said, a person may understand? What could be a particular goal given to a person to grow? These will depend on the relationship between the teacher and the student. How much freedom does the student give the teacher? How much Shraddha does a student have in the teacher? Do I trust? So the general translation of the word Shraddha is trust. But what is Shraddha? It is Satya Buddhi Avadharana. What is Satya Buddhi? This is true. Okay. How many fingers? 4. No, 2. Can you believe this? 2 fingers, not 4. No, I can't believe it. Why can't you believe it's 2 fingers? Okay, now 2, at least accept. No, okay, 2. No, why not? What do you trust? I'm telling you. Guru Vakya, I'm teaching you exactly, Shraddha. Guru Vakya is, this is 3. Please believe me, this is 3. Can you oblige me? Why not? What do you believe? If you say I can't believe you, what do you believe? You believe what your eyes are showing you. Right now, I am talking of Titiksa, not Shraddha. Can you believe me? You can't, because your ears are the pramanam. Correct? Now I say, look at this. Can you feel it? My hands smell of rose. Can you feel it? The smelling of rose. Come on, look. Smell it. What can you say now? I've had a lot of rose in my hands for a while. It's fragrant. My hand. Ah, it's smelling of rose. What do you have to say to this now? Do you say no? It's not smelling of rose? Can you say it is smelling of rose? This is where you have to trust me. Where the contradiction is apparent, you can't trust me. But you have to trust me where you have no means of contradicting this. Do you have a means to contradict it? May I be right? Is it possible I am right? That my hands are indeed very fragrant, smelling of rose right now? They could be. If you don't see it that way, you'll have to give me a reason why you say my hands cannot be smelling of rose. You have to give me a reason. No, why would your hands be smelling of rose? That's not a good reason, okay? Because you have no way to know why they should or shouldn't be smelling. Swami, I don't think you'll be applying rose fragrance to your hand. I've never seen a perfume bottle in your hand. Good guess, but I'm telling you I have it right now. Do you have basis to say no? What is the means of knowledge to know whether my hands are fragrant or not? First thing you should say, do you have a means of knowledge to know? Do you have any means of knowledge to know whether my hands are fragrant or not? Unless one day cameras start getting fragrance too, you know. When you don't have a means of knowledge, now this becomes an area for trust. This is not a trust which is against your means of knowledge. This is a trust, if it's important to you, pending verification. Suppose I tell you, you know what? After I studied this Vedanta, my hands always smell like rose. This is the Mahima of Vedanta. So now you can say, all right, you aren't sure, but you say, okay, but when you meet me next time, you check it out and you say, that was a lie. You can get me. Until then, you can't say so. You can say, how Vedanta will give a smell of rose in your hand? How? That is the punya phala of studying Vedanta. Is there a proof for that? No, I don't have a proof, but it is so. Believe me. You can believe pending verification. It's a belief pending verification. All right. If you do seva to the Guru and please him, you will go to heaven. When will you verify this? Only when you drop this body, then you can't come and complain to me anyway. I'm safe. Correct? So this is called what? This is called a matter for belief all the way. Because you cannot verify this here and now. It is nitya paroksha vastu. Paroksha means what is not going to be in front of you. Nitya paroksha means what? Never will it come in front of you. I will come, you can check my hands. Possibility exists. Or you can come here and find me and check out. But when it comes to you're going to heaven, you can never check it out till you drop this body. So a lot of things that are said. What is the Veda for us? The whole Veda is a body of knowledge. And knowledge of what? Not useless knowledge. Every piece of knowledge in the Veda must serve a purpose. Every word in the Veda must serve a purpose. What are the purposes? We say the purposes are only two in life. Okay, let's say only one really. You have an end. You have a purpose. And to gain that purpose, you may need some ends. Some means. You have an end and you have means. So there is a purpose or an end that you're interested in. And what are the means? What are the ends? What are the means? I am primarily interested in ends. I am primarily interested in ends. What kind of ends? Ends which I already know. Like what? This is mango season. It's good to eat mangoes now. They taste good. Suppose I know. For this, you don't have to tell me anything. Right? It's apparent to me. Or this is hot weather, so I should dress lightly. It's known to me. You don't have to tell me anything. But suppose I don't know. There's a particular type of mango which is very different. Then somebody who knows has to educate me. So you look at a mango, it looks all squished and it doesn't look very nice. You expect a mango to be nice and firm. No? So you've seen some mangoes, some Alfonso you've seen. But this is something called Rasalu. Andhra special. What is special about it? You don't just cut and eat the mango. What should you do? That mango has to be rolled like this. You have to convert the pulp into juice first, as the mango is intact. Then you have to, like a straw, you have to open one top. And then you have to drink, like a cup from a cup you have to drink this mango. If you look at the mango, when it's ready to take, it'll look like it's a useless mango because it's all, mushy. It doesn't look right. Now the point is, where I'll say, this mango, why did you bring me useless? Throw it away. What kind of mango is this? But then the person says, no, I got this specially for you. Very special. This is very special. This is a special Rasalu mango. Pedda Rasalu, big one. Small one also comes, big one also comes. Big Rasalu it is. Then I need to know, there is this fruit which I think is useless, but really is very good. I need to know. Now somebody from Andhra Garu will tell me, hey, this is Rasalu. This is called, I don't know there's an end called such a good mango. Somebody educates me. Therefore, that person who tells me about Rasalu becomes what? Pramanam. A means of knowledge. He informs me that this is how this mango, though it looks all mushy, it's not. It's the way it is. It is actually made ready for you to consume. Right? So I may have ends which I don't know about. Or there may be something which I don't even know can be eaten. No? Jackfruits you eat. Do you eat jackfruit seed? That also can be eaten. And the jackfruit seed can be roasted and made very special. Possibilities. I don't know about. So ends I'm told about. And means also I can be told. So I have a problem. What is the problem? I have some disease. And I'm told if you take this rich in omega-3, these are all the common things nowadays. Omega-3. I don't know what omega-3 is about, but if it's omega-3 means you pay for it through your nose. You buy an omega-3 capsule and you swallow it. It'll make you good. What will it do? It'll slow down your aging. You won't get wrinkles very soon. Or even if they come, they'll probably go away. You want some? Get some omega-3. Siddham. Now the next question is, okay, omega-3 you want. Where will I get omega-3? As a vegetarian, where will I get omega-3? Not cod liver oil. Then you have to know. Flax seeds may have omega-3. Some nuts have omega-3. You have to know. So now you know the end, Omega seeds are good they are all antioxidants. And they will keep you young. But you don't know the means to get it, other than the capsules. So now you want a means which is within your reach. You want to make it part of your daily food. Then you have to know what foods will pack omega-3. And it should not have anything which is not good for you. That is a sadhanam. Understand? Sadhya, an end. Sadhanam, a means. See, these factors, you could figure out yourself also in this life one day. Maybe you'll become a biologist and figure it out. But then, the things which cannot be figured out by perception and inference, the ends and means, which are useful to human being, but cannot be figured out by a human being, unknown ends and means for known ends as well as unknown ends is the subject matter of the Veda. So Veda is pramana. It's a means of knowledge. For what? For ends, unknown ends, and means for known and unknown ends. What does it mean that it's a pramanam? It means that what a means of knowledge tells you, any given means of knowledge tells you, cannot be revealed to you by any other means of knowledge. This is something to be very clearly understood. What your eyes tell you cannot be substituted by any other means of knowledge. What your ears bring sound in cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. Your tongue tells taste cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. The skin tells you whole body, it's a touch sensitive organ. That sense of touch cannot be delivered by your eyes, by your ears. See, eyes also have a sense of touch. Ears also have a sense of touch, but that's one aspect of it. I'm saying the visual aspect of the eye cannot reveal the sense of touch. The hearing aspect of the ear cannot reveal the sense of touch. The tasting aspect of the tongue cannot reveal the sense of touch. Nose cannot reveal sense of touch. Therefore, what? What is a means of knowledge? That which has its unique area of operation, which is not available. There is no overlap between the area of operation, the sphere of operation of one means of knowledge and a second means of knowledge. Perception. 5 means of perception. They are all independent means of knowledge. Anumana, inference, either single step or multi-step, will include both. This again depends on perception. But even when you don't perceive a thing, you can make an inference about something. Stock example, even if you don't perceive fire, when you see smoke, you can clearly know there must be fire. Correct? Assuming sweetness only comes from jaggery, even though you don't see jaggery, when you eat something, you eat some dish. When you eat, you say there is jaggery in it. Why? Because that sweetness is perceived by you. It is again pratyaksha, not anumana really. Right? But you can see. So all I'm saying is anumanam is where you can put two and two together and arrive at something. But again, what anumanam can tell you, perception cannot. I see smoke, therefore there will be fire. If you were able to see fire, only an idiot will see, I see smoke, therefore there is fire. If you're seeing fire, what will you say? I see fire. You won't say, oh, I see smoke, therefore there must be fire. That requires special intelligence. So what anumanam, inference can tell you, only inference can tell you. Important thing is, perception and inference are both independent means of knowledge. Independent means what? Each one is capable of independently giving you the knowledge that they can. All right. Now we, for the sake of numbers, we'll say upamana, comparison means of knowledge. Anupalabdhi, non-availability is means of knowledge. Ignore those for a minute. Okay. And anumana, we take two steps. Arthapatti, anumana. So we make it 5. But we say the 6th means of knowledge is called Shabda, Veda. And why? What does it mean to means of knowledge? What it says can only be revealed by it. And what it says cannot be denied or questioned by another means of knowledge. Very important. If my eyes say, that you're wearing green, no means of knowledge can negate the fact that you're wearing green. Therefore, you cannot say, Swamiji, but I think I feel you're wearing yellow. You can't. No way. Because you have no means except your eyes. Now you extend this to Vedanta or Veda. Whatever Veda says, you can say, Swamiji, but it's not logically. How by pouring water on Shivalinga you will get some result? How? Don't ask. If you ask, you are trying to extend the range of a means of knowledge where it doesn't have access. Why by doing puja I will get some good results? This is what Nitya Paroksha. Even when you get a good result, you will say, maybe I just got lucky. You will never accept. If a person is unwilling to accept, he will say, prove that this is given by Bhagavan. Prove it happened because of puja. Prove it happened because of Rudrabhishekam. You can't prove. You cannot prove it at all. Even when they do artificial rain, sometimes they tried artificial rain. They said we will do a ritual which will bring rain. They did. If it rained, the fellow will say, how do I know your ritual caused rain? It just came. How are you going to prove? Can you ever prove the connection between two things which are not visible to your perception and inference? You can't. Then how do you prove Veda is a pramana? Listen. How do you prove your eyes work? How do you prove your eyes work? Do you prove your eyes work by doing something? Close your eyes. Prove your eyes work. Try. Just close your eyes right now and prove to me that your eyes work. No, I cannot prove unless my eyes open. I'm sure it works with my eyes closed. How are you sure? How are you sure it works? I'm very sure. How? Blindness, when it comes momentarily. How are you sure it's not come right now? You cannot prove. But Swamiji, now I open, I can see. Now you're opening, you're seeing. So what proved your eyes see? Your sight alone proves your eyes see. Is there any other way to prove it? What is the way to prove any means of knowledge? You have to use that means of knowledge. There's no other way. What is the way to prove that this worship will do something for you? Worship. Okay, I'll worship. I don't even think it'll work. If you worship like that way, it won't work. It won't work. That is called Shraddha. You have to believe it will work. If you don't believe it will work, it won't work. Sometimes we will say like this, sometimes we'll say differently. Depends on context, okay? Suppose, whether you believe fire will burn or not, you put your finger in it, what will happen? Whether you believe or not, it will burn. Okay? But when you have to see a connection which is not immediately apparent. See, burning of eyes is pratyaksha, burning of finger. But when you have to see something, that by doing this particular act of worship, I got a desired end. The connection between your getting the end and the worship is never apparent to you. There it is only Shraddha. What is Shraddha? A belief that it must be true. Giving the benefit of doubt to the Veda despite your reservations is called Shraddha. A person has done everything possible medically and there is no hope for him. And still, when the person does a ritual, if he gets better, that you cannot necessarily examine medically and show what happened. Too many factors involved. But if the person has Shraddha, he says, only Bhagavan took care. Right? This is Shraddha. So Shraddha, if it's about something which you will never be able to see when alive, would be Nitya Paroksha. But Vedanta Shastra, whole Veda talks about means and ends. Vedanta can talk about what then? Vedanta is that which is at the end of the Veda. It's part of the Veda. Therefore, it is also going to inform me of what? Means and ends. Nothing else. What is the end? Freedom. What is the means? Knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of you. Are you available? Are you available? Yes or no? I am available. Then the knowledge should be now, here and now. Not later. Not when you go to heaven. Here and now. Therefore, when Vedanta tells you, if it tells you, you are what you want to be, you are the whole, you cannot say, I have Shraddha, it will happen later. Won't work. You have to understand. And if you understand, the knowledge is here and now. It doesn't wait. Therefore, Shraddha in Vedanta can be verified here and now. Difference between Veda and Vedanta. Shraddha is required in the whole Veda. Anything to do with Veda, you need Shraddha. In fact, the Acharyas will say, if you don't have Shraddha, you will never come to Vedanta. Or it won't work for you. Why? Because Shraddha is required even for Adhikaritvam. Karma Yoga requires Shraddha. Therefore, Shraddha is very, very important. You know? So that Shraddha means what? It's not, see, generally they will say belief, faith. Another word is faith. The word faith has been used generally to mean all religions are called what? Faith-based religions. What is faith-based? Means you believe, that's all. They never talk of what is going on here. They always talk of what after death, what will happen to you. Whether you'll go to heaven or you go to hell. Who saw it? Nobody did. Therefore, it's a permanent belief. What is wrong if they believe? You also believe in heaven. No problem if they believe. But the belief should be believable. A belief should not be against reason. If it is within reason, you don't need a belief. If it is against reason, it cannot be believed. So Shraddha is not against reason. It is basically Shraddha is a commitment or a value in a means of knowledge. To say that I surrender to the means of knowledge. That's the attitude. I'm not surrendering to a person. I'm not surrendering some ideas. A means of knowledge. Surrender means what? The only way to test the means of knowledge is to deploy it. There is no other way. This is called Shraddha. So now, Shraddha cannot be against reason. What can prevent Shraddha? Because, see, a difficult area for many people, especially if for some reason you have a background where you have always been associating yourself or identifying yourself as a non-believer, as an agnostic. You had that kind of company. You're a doubting Thomas all the time. Where is God? Show me. This kind of person you are. For whatever reasons. Backgrounds can make us like that. Nothing wrong with that. Any one of us could be like that. The question, though, is if that is who I am, this word Shraddha is going to cause a big problem. Because I have to surrender to authority. Shraddha is authority. And surrendering to that authority is very difficult if a person has had a difficult parent. Because parent is authority, psychologically. And therefore, I cannot accept authority. If I cannot accept authority, it's very difficult to accept Ishvara. Because he's bigger authority. He's a big boss. I can't accept, father means I can't accept my boss. I can't accept anybody who will say, shut up. And to accept Ishvara is next to impossible. So your attempt will be what? To find a way which you can bypass Ishvara. That will be a method. Who am I? That's what you want to do. Because there you don't have to deal with Ishvara. Or so you believe. That by asking who am I can stay away from this problem of Ishvara. I have to only ask who I am, right? That's okay. But understand, Shraddha is necessary. If we are trying to bypass, we have to look into it. That we are not asking for any investment of capital. Emotional investment, not physical investment. See, emotionally, you're investing in something. If that investment unravels, it hurts. Suppose you emotionally invested in a cult, and that cult later turned out to be a hoax. There will be pain. We don't know what we are investing in. Therefore, caution is necessary these days. But I'm saying, for us, Veda is a pramana. Pramana means a means of knowledge. And the attitude towards a means of knowledge is you accept pending verification. What is already available, you can never question. But when it is not immediately available, you have to accept pending verification. That is the attitude. So how you would trust your eyes with color? For color, you don't trust anything but your eyes. For smell, you trust nothing but your nose. You may check with somebody. Hey, do you smell that? You may, because you have a doubt. But final clinching answer is your own nose. Correct. This this attitude, you extend it now to what Vedanta has to say or Veda has to say. What does it mean? Suppose I'm seeing you wearing green. How much ever somebody tells me, no, you're wearing red, I can't take it. I will say, no, not true. It is green. Until my eyes see green, I cannot say anything but green. So you do not have the ability to question what the eyes says except by questioning the eyes. You can question the eyes. Are your eyes okay? Are you colorblind? Possible. Possible I'm colorblind. Eyes are okay. Is your buddhi okay? Do you call things differently? Possible. But eyes are my proof. Similarly, if Vedanta is a means of knowledge, with what basis will you question Vedanta? What is the basis to question Vedanta? If Vedanta were to tell the color of objects, you can question. But Vedanta's or Veda as a means of knowledge is only restricted to that which cannot be known through perception and inference. So if the Veda were to tell you the color of something is red, it is only restating a fact that you know with your eyes. It is not informing you of anything new. When you restate something, it is called anuvada. Anuvada means restatement, not translation here. Restatement. So a restatement, anybody can make anything. But statement can only come from means of knowledge. And if Veda is a means of knowledge for any particular thing, what should be clear is it is not available for other means of knowledge. This is the starting premise. If this is understood well, a lot of your questions will just drop away. Because your questions have no place. How it can happen? There is a fire. You pour ghee in it. All I see is ashes there. How it will give a benefit? This is why I told you, not available for perception. Now, you don't have a way to argue. I am not proving by way of perception. I'm saying it'll happen. You want to try it out? Try it out. It'll work. I don't believe. Then you won't try it. Doesn't matter to me. But if you want to try it out. That's the only way. You want to check your eyes out? Use them. You want to check Veda out? Do what it says. No other way. You cannot be a bystander arguing about Veda's correctness, because if somebody argues, the best way is to say, okay, you are entitled to your views. Don't try to prove him wrong, because you will never succeed. Because a person who has no leg to stand on, trying to argue, how will you argue with him? Then you have to argue in the same frivolous way. You have to give a more frivolous argument to him. That's it. So if he says, how this will happen, you just give some, because my nose is able to see green color. That's how it happens. Hey, how can your nose see? My nose sees. If you can see what will happen by burning some ghee, my nose can see. That will be the kind of argument I'll have to give, okay? Silly. But the fact is, you have no way to disprove what the Veda says. Therefore, to question the Veda is just saying there is either no Shraddha or there is no understanding of Veda as a means of knowledge. Okay? So Shraddha, when it comes to Vedanta, though, is not something which you hold on and on and on, you die. No. If we understand what it is saying, it is talking about me. Vedanta is talking about Brahman and saying that Brahman is not other than you. You are the person who uses all means of knowledge. That you is always available. And about that you have a lot of conclusions. And what we will show is each of those conclusions is untenable. Each of those conclusions is untenable. You look at your conclusions about yourself. What will you say about yourself? You say anything about yourself. What will you say? Right now, are you a seer or not? You're a seer because you're seeing me. You're a seer. Close your eyes. Are you a seer or not? With your eyes closed, are you a seer or not? Swamiji, I will be a seer if I open my eyes. No guarantee. No guarantee. You think your eyes will see because your memory says your eyes always see. But there is no guarantee if you open eyes, sight will happen again. So seer, when the eyes are closed, you are not a seer. Do you accept that? If you accept that, you are not a seer inherently. Do you accept that? You have no choice, okay? When your eyes closed, you are there. You can't say, I'm not there. But you are not a seer. Therefore, if you say, seer I am, I'll say, yes, seer you might be, but you are not the seer. Extend this to all other senses. Hearer you are. Silence, what did you hear? So hearer went away. It depends on a sound. So hearer you are, but you are not a hearer all time. So hearer is an incidental role. Seer is an incidental role. Taster. Are you tasting something right now? I hope not. So taster also you are, but you are not a taster. Smeller. We rarely use our smell, nose that much. We don't nose around in that way generally. Therefore, smell, capacity of smell is given to you, but you are not always smelling anything. You tell me then, who are you? Are you a knower? Okay. Just know what I'm telling you right now, okay? Apple, orange, mango, banana, cow. How many things did you know? 5? Apple, orange, mango, banana, cow. Did you know these 5 things or not? Okay. So between these 5 objects of knowledge, was there a gap? How did you draw the line between these 5? Apple, orange. Is the space in my sound the gap? What is the gap? How do you know apple is one cognition? Apple is one thought. Orange is one thought. Mango is one thought. Banana is one thought. Cow is one thought. Between 2 thoughts, what were you? Thinker? Knower? What did you know between the 2 thoughts? What did you know? Did you know anything? If you didn't know, your whole life, whatever you talk about, your experience, your history, your biography is nothing but knowledge, 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 knowledge. Is there anything more? Whole waking is what? Knowledge, 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 knowledge. Dream is what? Knowledge, 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 knowledge. Sleep is what? No knower, no knowledge. Were you there? Knowing that there is no knower, no knowledge? Yes, you were. So you tell me now, what are you? Any one thing you explain will mean It is based on the knowledge you gained. True or not? If you say, I am a housewife, that's knowledge. You are not a housewife when you were born, for sure. I am a retired government servant. Before you joined the government, you existed. Correct? I'm a happy person. Have you always been happy? Before you were happy, to know you are happy, you must have been sad before. Otherwise, the word happy won't come to you. You tell me, what can you tell me about yourself? Okay? Which is inherent to you, without which you are not. Tell me anyone, I'll be happy. If you can't tell anything, can you say, you know what, I don't know anything about myself? Can you tell that? Will you be honest enough to say that? I don't know anything about myself. I can't know anything about myself. Can you say that? This is available for you to see. This is not belief. So when I point this out, you're able to see what I'm saying to you. I'm only pointing out the errors in your thinking about yourself. That I don't like to hold on to these errors after the class is a different matter. But at least right now you can't walk away and say it's not true. You have to accept the fact that I have no basis to explain myself, because any knowledge is preceded by my presence or not. Does knowledge happen first and then I walk into the room? Then I won't know about it. So I must be there before the knowledge takes place. Yes. So when the knowledge takes place, I must be there to know what knowledge took place. Therefore, I was before the knowledge. I am after knowledge. Right? What is that I which was there before, during, and after knowledge? What is that I? That's what I want to know. That is what is called I. What comes and goes cannot be I. You cannot say, Swami, was sitting in that auditorium and I came and I went. Hey, where were you when you went? Where were you when you went? You can't go. If you saw something going, you were there. Something else went. You can say, my mind went out. That's okay. That's very common. Nothing new. And then you came back, you heard the next concert, piece. You came back. Correct. That means you're talking with reference to your mind. I'm okay with that. But you went out. If you went out, you can't tell yourself, I went out. If you say so, you're saying it without understanding the word I. Now, if you acknowledge you don't know anything about yourself, okay, then do you know anything about the world? We have shown you can't say anything about yourself. What can you talk about of the world? Tell me. Are you going to fare any better? Tell me any one thing that you know completely. Any one thing. My favorite pot. Where is it? Let me get it done. Hasn't had a job for a while. What is this? Come on, I'm sure all of you are very, very intelligent. Huh? What is it? It's a pot, correct? It's a pot. Was it always there? No. What was it before it became a pot? From where did this pot come? From clay. Was clay always there? Does clay have a cause? Yes. Clay has a cause. That cause, was it always there? No, that has a cause. Anything in time has a cause. And anything in time is changing. Whether you know it or not, if you see something in time, it is changing. It is born in time, it is changing in time, it may go in time. What goes? What comes? Where did it come from? Where does it go to? Where did it come from? Tell me. If you can tell me what this pot is all the way, don't stop at clay, because I want to know what it really is. You first said it's a pot, then I say if I take clay away, what is there? Swamiji, there's no pot. Then clay is the reality. Like that, you tell me what's the reality of clay. Tell me what's the reality of clay. Where will you end up? Where will you end up? You will have to say, Swamiji, I don't know what's a pot. Okay, we'll try a cloth. Will you fare any better? Take anything you like, any object of your choice. A flower, a bird, a book. Take any object, anything that comes to your mind. An emotion. What do you know about it? You know something about it. What's revealed by your means of knowledge, you know. What's revealed by your means of knowledge, you know. Does your means of knowledge reveal existence? Does it? You see an existent pot, or is existence an attribute of a pot? If existence is an attribute of a pot, when I destroy a pot, some existence should reduce in life. Existence that ever reduce? Do you have volume for existence? Some of you have so much of existence, now it became less by 0.5 units. No such thing. So what is existence? What is existence? We're existing in sleep. What is existence? I don't know. What do you know? You neither know yourself nor do you know the world. What do you know? Do you have means to know? So suppose you have means to know, you can know. You don't see color. Okay, open your eyes, see color. How will you see the truth now? The truth of yourself. You want to describe yourself. What are you? How will you describe yourself? I have no way. Veda tells you what you are. No, how can it tell? You don't have means. Shut up. Listen. Shraddha. Understand what is Shraddha? I am not asking you to believe something. I am telling you, you are in a cul-de-sac. It's a dead end. Recognize that I am in a dead end when it comes to know the reality of myself or the world. It's a dead end. There is no way I'm going to go beyond it. Then what should I do? How will I ever know myself? Is it like a case of a person who never saw his back because he didn't have a mirror? Never saw his back, died away. A lot of people, I'm sure, die away without seeing their backs. Quite possible. How long since you have seen your own back? Think about it. Unless you have a fancy bathroom. So the fact is, you can live and die without seeing your back. And you can live and die without seeing who you are. If you don't know who you are, when you say I'm unhappy, I'm sad, are you right? When you say I'm unhappy, how do you say I'm unhappy? How do you say I'm unhappy? Do you say I'm unhappy all the time? No. When do you say I'm unhappy? When you see unhappiness welling in your mind. When do you say I'm depressed? When you see that unhappiness never goes away and is constantly welling in your mind. When do I say I feel very good, lighthearted? After a glass of alcohol. Whatever it might be, okay? Doesn't matter. But the fact is, how do you know you're sad? What makes you make a statement, I am sad? You see sadness in your mind. True or not? How do you say I'm happy? You see no sadness in your mind. Maybe you see something positive. How do you say I'm ashamed? You see the feeling of ashamedness in your mind. So you are saying everything based on what you see, which is an event in time, which is knowledge. You are a knower of sadness, knower of emotions, knower of states of mind. States of mind are not your states. When there is no mind in sleep, you are. How can you say you are sad? How can you say you're sad? How can you say you're upset? How can you say you're small? How can you say you're a man? How can you say you're a woman? Swamiji, what should I do then? Don't do anything. Don't change your language. But understand that what you know about yourself is not the whole truth. In fact, it is not the truth at all. Not entirely. There's some truth to it. Because man is you. Sad is you. Depressed is you. But you are not depressed. It's a one-way equation. The beggar is the actor, but the actor is not the beggar. It's an amazing equation. Swami, but how am I going to know this? You will not know this as another means, another knowledge. But you still have to know it. Because the problem is the ignorance belongs at the level of the mind. And that ignorance can only be removed by knowledge at the level of mind. Vedanta is that means of knowledge, which will knock out the notions you have about yourself. What choice do you have? Swamiji, maybe I'll find it in the Bible too, or in the Quran. If you find it, it will say exactly what Vedanta is saying. It cannot say it in a different way. This is a guarantee. If anybody says this, if anybody can tell you who you really are, which cannot be improved upon, they cannot say anything other than what I'm saying. Because there is no reality other than me. Deal with it. Now, you don't want to have Shraddha in Vedanta, you think about it. See where Shraddha takes you. If you don't have Shraddha, then what will happen is what you hear, you will try to verify with your mind. You will try to prove that you are non-dual reality with your mind, and it will fail. It will fail because your mind cannot have access to this reality, which is the truth of itself. The mind can know things other than itself. The mind cannot know itself. Therefore, though we say it is knowledge, this knowledge is a knowledge, Vedanta knowledge, is a knowledge which will knock out the knower, known, and knowledge. Then what knowledge, Swami? That is the knowledge which cannot be described, which is not available as a meaning of a word, but which is, which you are. Now, where should I begin? Begin with Shraddha. I don't understand all this. Begin with Shraddha. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Bhagavan's promise in Gita. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. That's all, Swamiji. I just need Shraddha. No. Tatparaha sanyatendriyaha. Two more words are there, okay? If Shraddhavan labhate jnanam is only part, wonderful. All you need is Shraddha and you'll be free. It doesn't work that way. Tatparaha. That must be my commitment. My only commitment. Sanyatendriya. And I should not be a person whose buddhi is going all around, looking for 10 things to do. And Vedanta is one more thing I want to do. It's not a matter for curiosity. then it won't bless. I'm curious now. What you say? I want curious. I'm just curious. Someone told me recently. So he said, some young person came to my place with his parent. So I said, young man, 20, 21 probably. So I said, do you have anything to talk? Ask me. I said, no. I said, probably you don't even know what I talk about anyway. I said, yes, that's true. I said, good. So now the point is, when he doesn't even know what I will talk about, what will he ask me about? But he has a curiosity. So I said, what made you curious? Why do you want to meet me? No, my parents told me you're very up to date in current events. I said, very interesting. See, that any fool who's listening to news every day will tell you. You don't need me to do that. But that becomes a value for that person. Because he thinks it's interesting. You look at a person in a given way. So I like somebody. So if you look, there is this what's her name? Palki Sharma. Palki Sharma. So Palki Sharma is now having a new outlet. She's going to start now, new business, right? So you like to listen to her side of the story because she talks in a very Indian way. It's good to look, but that has nothing to do with what reality Vedanta has to offer. So you come to a Vedanta class to see something other than Vedanta, it won't do anything. That's all my point was, okay? But if you come to Vedanta, like a fellow student of mine long ago said he had come to the Gurukulam because he wanted to read English. I said, what? To study English, you came to Arshavidya Gurukulam? Yes. Why? Because I don't want just English. I want English with some Veda and some yoga and all that. Then what will you do? Once I know English, then I am a yoga teacher. So what will you do? There are a lot of people who come, including women. Then I will get married to one of them. Then I will be able to migrate to a foreign country and I will live my life happily thereafter. Why did he come for Vedanta? So he can learn English. Doesn't work. That is why before Shraddha we said what? Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksa. All these are important, okay? All these are needed. But the place of Shraddha, I'm saying, Shraddha is not, if I'm listening to these classes out of curiosity, that is not Shraddha. Shraddha is, I have Shraddha that this study is going to bless me with understanding of myself, of reality of the world. And whenever I feel that what it's saying doesn't gel with what I know, I don't question the Shastra, I question my understanding. Why is this appearing wrong? That is called Shraddha. You give the benefit of doubt to the Shastra, not to yourself. If you give the benefit of doubt to yourself, that is Ashraddha, because you're sure Shastra is wrong. That is called Ashraddha. And Ashraddha can come because of your background in life. Because you have seen people who have cheated on the name of religion. You've seen people do that. You've seen people who charge an arm and leg to do what you want. What they want to get, they will do. So how do you want your wedding done? Do you perform weddings? Yes. Very well known Panditji. But he is very up to date man. How do you want the wedding done? He'll say, how do you want it done? 5 minutes? 1 hour? 2 hours? With thali? Without thali? With mantras, without mantras? Which way do you want it? I'll do it any way you want. Wonderful guy. That means he is using what he knows to make money. That's it. He's not following Shastra. So I have seen such people. Then what will happen? Shraddham, somebody comes home. They are supposed to be representatives for your or your forefathers. And at the end of the whole thing, they're supposed to say, yes, I'm satisfied. Triptoham, they have to say. They have to say in so many words, Triptoham. But he says, give me some more dakshina. You've given him enough as far as you think. In your own understanding, you've given him enough. Now he says, give me some more. He won't say Triptosmi. You have had this experience a few times. Now what will you say? All these guys are like this. This whole religion is like this. Shraddha has gone with it. Can happen. So just because another thing, suppose you went to one physician, you have an ailment, a very chronic ailment. Typically, you ask the person, anybody who they have a chronic ailment, listeners will always want to chip in with their own suggestions. Very common as to what you can do. So you tell him, hey, have you tried Ayurveda? Yeah, I've tried Ayurveda, it doesn't work. Hey, have you tried, this thing, what's that called? Acupressure? Yeah, I've tried it also, it doesn't work. Allopathy, of course I've tried. I've tried 5 of them, it doesn't work. 5 people you went to. 5 people, do they mean the whole allopathy is covered? How many Ayurvedic fellows? 1. Where was he? Neighbor next door. Come on. So the conclusion is made without a thorough examination. This we are doing with reference to daily affairs. So you say, Swamiji, this thing, Ayurveda doesn't work for me. How many times have you tried? 2 times. Maybe the doctor was wrong. But practically, I don't have the energy and the mind to try 10 more fellows because how many times should I be wrong? Therefore, I don't try. So I made a conclusion. Ayurveda doesn't work. Then 20 years later, I discovered an Ayurveda physician who gave me 2 doses and I became okay. Then I said, wow, I wish I had known Ayurveda really works. What changed? What changed? What changed is just that now you went to a person who really knew what he's talking about. And your prarabdha was right, perhaps, for you. But the fact is, I'm saying, when you say Veda cannot be means of knowledge, examine why. If you say Veda cannot be a means of knowledge, then you should tell me that knowledge which is telling you, do you have a means of knowledge which can give you that? If you have another means of knowledge which can tell you what Veda is saying, then if that is the means of knowledge, I myself will tell you Veda cannot be the means of knowledge. Because a means of knowing is unique. For any one thing, a means of knowing is unique. Once you know something with a given means of knowing, it cannot be in the sphere of any other means of knowing. So I tell you, you are the only reality in the whole universe. Do you have a means of knowledge to tell you this? If you don't, then you cannot now say Veda is wrong. One reason. Now, is it saying something contrary to what you know? It cannot happen because if one means of knowledge can only one piece of information, you cannot have contradiction by another means of knowledge. Therefore, is the Veda contradicting itself? Huge discussion. That is Brahma Sutra. And we say what? Tattu Samanvayat. No, all of them have only one vision. No, Veda, I don't know. Brahma Sutra and all, I can't study. I don't have time for all that. But I don't feel it is right. Your feeling is not a means of knowledge. No emotion is a means of knowledge. This is a huge problem. I don't feel like that. How can I be the only reality? There are so many people like me. All of them, hey, there are so many bodies like you. There are not so many people like you. The word I, you can't place it anywhere except you. Not even in the body. That I am talking about. Which I told you can't describe it. How do you say it's not true? When you don't know a thing, how can you talk about it? You must have the openness. So if it is not saying something contradictory, it is not something which is told by any other means of knowledge. If it is not giving you doubtful knowledge, what is doubtful knowledge? So you ask a person, what time is the class? My doubt is it 4 or 4:30? I think it's 4, but I'm not sure. Did you get any knowledge? Samshayitam jnanam na bhavati. Anything which is doubted cannot be knowledge. Is Vedanta presenting something which is doubtful? Doubt means it could be this way, it could be that way. Vedanta is talking of that in the light of which doubt or absence of doubt is known. It is talking of that awareness in the presence of which any knowledge comes to light or ignorance comes to light. How you can have a doubt about that which is not available for objectification, but in whose light, in whose presence everything comes to light. It cannot be samshayitam jnana. It is that due to which knowledge and ignorance are made possible. There cannot be doubt about it. Therefore, no doubt possible. No doubt possible, no viparita, no contradiction possible, no other means of knowledge for it. Now, what basis do you have to tell me that I can't believe it? If you can't, then say, all right, I will start by saying it must be true unless I can prove it otherwise. Okay? That is called Shraddha. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhi. Swamiji, all right. Shastra I bought. Guruvakya is the bigger problem. Shastra, okay, Vedanta Shastra, all right, it's coming down from ages, its fidelity is maintained by, the Kramapatha, Ghanapatha, Samhita Patha, all Pathas are there and I trust. But these people, Swamiji, people we can never trust completely. How do I know this Guru's words are trustworthy or not? Maybe he's trying to separate me from my wealth. Possible. So why should I have Shraddha in Guru Vakya? True, you have to be cautious. But if the Guru has no agenda, see, a Guru who wants to separate you from your wealth or separate you from something else, his agenda will show up sometime. When a Guru has nothing to gain because he is complete in his own and he just tells you, you are the whole. He doesn't come looking for you to find a victim. He doesn't come around like a missionary knocking at a door. Have you heard the good news? Somebody is coming. Have you heard the good news? He doesn't do that. He is not talking of the arrival of some new Messiah either. He is sitting in his corner. You go to him and tell him, I have a problem. He says, you have no problem. He says, you have no problem. What will that guy have to gain from you? To gain something, I have to first, yeah, you have a serious problem. Yeah, I think it's very serious. It's bigger than cancer. You need real help. You come to the right guy. I'll help you. Now you should be cautious, okay? Because if I say you have a real problem, you better be cautious. But if I say, what problem do you have? I don't see any problem with you. Then what do you have to say? So that is why Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. He has no agenda except Brahman. He is always committed only Brahman. This is ideal Guru, okay? So this is the Guru. Then why you can't trust him? But be wise. If you see, because human beings can be, can be swayed by their thinking, their emotions, you be cautious. But then, Swamiji, why don't I study Shastra by myself? Why do I need this Guru in between? Problem. Authority problem. There also. Oh no. The difficulty is The Guru alone can use the Shastra Vakya to make you see the truth. Why I can study anything and know why I have to, I went through advanced JE also very well. I cracked all of them. All my life I've been a topper. No problem. Sanskrit I know already. Why I can't figure out by myself? Till you say I'll figure out, you won't figure out. Because the fellow who figures out has to vanish. That will never happen when you're trying to figure out. Swami, now that you told me, I will figure out how to vanish. Try. Try negating yourself without knowing the truth. Won't work. Therefore, for Vedanta Shastra, Guru Vakya is very important because Guru is the pramana handling of the words. Swami would use the word handling of words. You have to use the words in a way to convey what has to be conveyed. What is being conveyed is not the meaning of any word. Any word. Then you're conveying something meaningless? No, I'm conveying to you the most meaningful. But it is not the meaning of any word. Then don't use any word. I must use words. I use words to convey the meaning of something which cannot be understood by any word. How? That's the method. That's called prakriya. I'll read in the book. Won't work. Generally won't work. May work. Swamiji Ramana never had a guru. Well, if you're a Ramana, you also don't need a guru. No trouble. Go. Simple answer. If you think you're a Ramana, feel free. Firstly, you can't prove Ramana had no guru. Nobody can prove it. Even if he did, why Ramana? We can go further, We have Vamadeva. As he was born, he said, I'm everything. You may be Vamadeva too. Fine, be Vamadeva. You won't be sitting in this class then. That's all. You won't argue about it. There's no reason to. So the point is, understand that the Shraddha is one of the six, but it's very important that the attitude is you go to the Shastra saying it is telling you something that you cannot know otherwise. It is pointing out something which you need to start with by accepting. Okay? And when you go with that attitude, then alone what? What the Shastra, Vedanta Shastra has to reveal will come to light. So that is what this mantra was about. Okay, we'll stop now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Any questions are welcome. No questions? Okay.